Welcome to my YouTube channel. Here you will find easy to understand about the medical knowledge. Kindly like, share and follow my YouTube videos for more updates and knowledge. Today we are going to learn about the physiology of the menstrual cycle. We are going to see what is the definition of the menstrual cycle, what are the phases of the menstrual cycle, what are the changes occurring in that phases. We are going to see in this definition of the menstrual cycle is menstrual cycle is defined as a cyclical events that takes place in a rhythmic fashion during the reproductive period of woman's life. There is a definition of the menstrual cycle. The commencement of the menstrual cycle is called menarche. This gradually occurs at the age of 12 to 15 years, which marks as the onset of the puberty. And likewise, the other term we can see is menopause, which means the permanent cessation of the menstrual cycle, which occurs in the old age around 45 to 50 years. That is called menopause. And the commencement of menstrual cycle is called menarche, and the permanent cessation of the menstrual cycle is called menopause. Usually, the menstrual cycle duration is 28 days, but it may vary from 20 to 40 days, and it is considered as a physiological changes. So what are the changes during the menstrual cycle? We can see is we can see the changes in the ovarian changes, what happens in the ovary and what happens in the uterine. What are the changes that takes place during the menstrual cycle? We are going to see in this video. We are going to see the ovarian changes, what are going to happen. Ovarian changes are, first one is follicular phase and the next one is luteal phase. What happens in the follicular phase is folliculation or proliferation of the of the granulosa cells takes place, and the development of the ovum takes place. So follicular phase is also known as proliferative phase. We'll see what happens in this. Follicular phase extends from 5th day of the cycle until the time of the ovulation. So the ovulation takes place at the 14th day after the LH surge. Till then, the follicular phase takes place. What happens here is maturation of ovum and development of ovarian follicles takes place. Ovarian follicle consists of ovum, ovum surrounded by epithelial cells, namely called granulosa cells. Means the ovum is present and surrounding the epithelial cells are present. That is known as the granulosa cells. These are the follicular development occurs in the ovum, that is primordial follicule and later primary follicule and later vesicular follicule, Graafian follicule. After ovulation, carpus hemorrhagicum is formed and then carpus luteum. If fertilization occurs, then carpus luteum of pregnancy it is called, and if there is no fertilization, it is called carpus luteum menstrualis and then it degenerates. Primordial follicule. What happens in this primordial follicle? It is a new ovum which is developed after the birth and has a ovum incomplete granulosa cells. Granulosa cells also secrete oocyte maturation inhibiting factor. This factor is very important because it keeps the ovum in an immature stage till the woman attains the puberty. It is kept in the immature state. So no new ovum is developed after birth. Next, follicular development is primary follicule. During this stage, the follicule and the ovum size is increased. And what are the changes occurs in this phase is proliferation of the granulosa cells. Granulosa cells are the epithelial cells which are present around the ovum. So here the proliferation of the granulosa cells is seen. And next, increase in the size of the follicle. As the granulosa cells goes on proliferating, then the size of the follicle will be going on increasing. So next is increase in the size of the ovum. As the granulosa cells proliferate and as the size increases, and the ovum size also increases, primary follicles develop into the next phase, that is vesicular follicles. In the diagram you can see here, this is a primary follicle. In the diagram you can see here, this is a primary follicle, this is a primary follicle, and this is a secondary follicle. Here you can see uh, the proliferation, what happens in this phase, primary to secondary follicle. You can see there are the more granulosa cells growing, the granulosa cells are proliferating, and the size is also going to increase, and the size of the ovum is also increasing from primary follicle to secondary follicle. So next is vesicular follicle. After the primary follicle, we are going to see the vesicular follicle. Vesicular follicle develop under the influence of the FSH, and changes in the granulosa, changes occurring in the vesicular follicles are what happens in the granulosa cells first we are going to see, and later in the ovum, and what are the cells, how it will be formed, we'll see later. So changes happening in the granulosa cells, what are the changes we can see. Antrum formation takes place here. Let me show you with the diagram. So antrum formation, here you can see, this is antrum. Antrum is formed here, that is granulosa cells proliferate leaving a cavity. You can see in the diagram, antrum is a white space, and these are the granulosa cells which are continuously proliferated around the ovum, but there is a space, there is a cavity between the granulosa cells. That space, that cavity is called as an antrum, and the size of the follicle and antrum goes on increases. Granulosa cells lining the antrum form membrane granulosa. As it goes on increases, it forms the membrane granulosa. Here you can see in this diagram also, there is a space, cavity. This cavity is called antrum, and these cells are called as granulosa cells. So now we are going to see the changes in the ovum. Changes in the ovum, what happens in the ovum is pushed to one side. The granulosa cells present around the ovum, which forms a germ hill, that is called cumulus oporus. You can see in the figure. And next, ovum increases in size and zona pellucida is formed in this stage. In which stage? This stage is vesicular follicle developmental stage, and in this changes occurs in the granulosa cells we have seen, and changes occurring in the ovum we have seen. Next we are going to see the changes in the formation of this cell. So ovarian cortex are modified to form follicular sheath at theca follicle. Theca follicle is divided into two layers, that is theca interna and theca externa. Theca interna is special epithelial cells that secretes female sex hormone, especially estrogen. So it is very important to note that theca interna is a special epithelial cells that secretes female sex hormones, especially estrogen, into the antrum. The hormone which is secreted by the theca interna, that is estrogen, is filled into the antrum. It is left into the antrum. And the next layer is the outer layer, theca externa. The inner layer is interna, and the external layer is theca externa. After about 7 days of the menstrual cycle, one of the vesicular follicles becomes the dominant follicle. It develops further to form a Graafian follicle. Other vesicular follicles degenerate and become atrophic. That is, it undergoes the degeneration. Here you can see, as I have shown you in the previous slides, that primordial follicle will form the primary follicle will form the vesicular follicle will form the Graafian follicle. So we have seen till the vesicular follicle. What happens in the vesicular follicle? There are three changes, that is changes in the Graafian follicles, changes in the granulosa cells, and changes in the ovum, and changes in the formation of the cells. We have seen this. Theca interna and externa is formed and zona pellucida is formed here. And next we are going to see about the Graafian follicle. Here the vesicular follicle degeneration of the unused ovum takes place. So after about 7th day of the menstrual cycle, the vesicular follicle becomes dominant and it develops further to form the Graafian follicle. When after the vesicular follicle, Graafian follicle is formed, and other vesicular follicles degenerate. Other than the dominant, the recessive follicles which are formed, that will get degenerate and becomes atrophic. That undergoes the apoptosis. So this happens here in the theca externa. It is not the ovum, it is the Graafian follicle. That is vesicular follicle which is not dominant, which is recessive, gets degenerated and become atrophic, and later the dominant follicle forms the Graafian follicle. Hope the concept is clear. Thank you. Kindly like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel for further updates, and keep supporting my YouTube channel. Thank you.